So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, colleagues and friends from all over the world. My name is Mumbi Washira. I am a faculty member at Strathmore University Business School based in Nairobi, Kenya. And I am here today with my fellow friends and colleagues to share with you a very important topic for all of us today, which is really about measuring social impact and how we do that in our universities and in business enterprises. As we know, measuring social impact is an emerging and significant area for businesses and our universities. And this session will really consider what the opportunities and challenges are in how we align ourselves to the Sustainable Development Goals and how we actually keep ourselves accountable with the social impact we create and track over time. The session will also highlight developments and provide examples of social impact measures in businesses. I am joined, as I said, by an expert panel who I will introduce shortly to share their insights. We have Santosh Parulekar, who is the co-founder and chief executive officer at PIPAL Ventures. I'm also joined today by Jackie King, who is a director for Accreditation and Joint Strategic Projects at the Faculty of Business and Economics and Melbourne Business School and the University of Melbourne. She is also the vice chair for Australia and the New Zealand Prime Chapter. I'm also joined by Yaprak Anadol, who is assistant professor at the University of Dubai and the chair of the newly created Prime Chapter, Middle East and North Africa. So welcome, colleagues. I think we are all very keen to hear from you. So I will turn now to you, Santosh. Perhaps you can share with us the experiences that you've had at PIPAL Ventures in monitoring and measuring your social impact. Welcome.
Okay, thank you, Mumbi. Just so that you understand, as Mumbi said, that I am the CEO of People Tree Ventures, which is a social venture. We provide skill training and employment to school dropouts from villages in India. And just to show you what we do, so that we have the meaningful discussions, I am going to show you a small video, and we will be running the video now.
आई बाबा काम करतात शेतात, मजुरी करतात.
शेतकऱ्याची मुलगी असल्यामुळे मी असं विचार करते की त्यांना सुद्धा आपण एवढा त्रास नाही देऊ शकत.
क्योंकि मुझे सायन्स लेना था, फिर घरची परिस्थिती चांगली नव्हती, त्यामुळे मग घेऊ शकले नाही.
I'm Santosh Parulekar. I spent a lot of time working with the large corporates in the UK and Europe and United States. And in 2007, to give something back to the country, I decided to start People Tree Ventures. This is a social enterprise which focuses mainly on providing skills to school dropouts from villages and then provide them the livelihood.
Majority of the construction workforce consists of migrants from villages. The labor class has to compromise on safety, security, working conditions, and most importantly, wages. To create organized jobs in this unorganized sector, People Tree started training centers pan-India, which became a stepping stone for more than 60,000 school dropouts who were waiting for that one opportunity in life.
मैं एक मकसद से आया हूँ कि काम करके कुछ बन सकूं.
The centers are equipped with modern machinery and equipment, and with the support and guidance from veterans of the industry, these trainees learn to perform quality building construction services. It is made sure that these school dropouts are transformed into skilled workers with a positive mindset. People Tree also came down on the field as a contractor to create organized jobs with monthly income and insurance. This team of skilled workers is supported by the latest technology, which results in a safer working environment and on-time completion of projects.
I am happy to say that more than now 10% of the blue collar workers in construction, especially large companies, they are having organized jobs. So we started the trend and then many of the construction companies adapted that. We tried to do various projects to provide employment to girls and women in construction. Even though we were successful in some of the projects like Sonabhadra, where we could provide them the jobs locally, we realized that we are not able to scale it up because of the migratory nature of the construction. And that is where then we came out with the new initiative, skill training in retail.
People Tree has retail training centers across 9 states, where candidates from nearby towns and villages are brought in through mobilization.
जो आपकी पूरी जिंदगी है ये पलट के रख सकता है सेल्स। तो क्या आप ये सेल्स एसोसिएट ट्रेनिंग लेने के लिए तैयार हो? सब लोग?
ह्या इथे आल्यावर सर आम्ही एवढं बोलायचं नव्हतं, म्हणजे असं डेअरिंग नव्हतं सर.
कॉन्फिडन्स वाढवला जातो सर्वात आधी, कारण कॉन्फिडन्स शिवाय काहीच होऊ शकत.
In this 1 month of the free skill training, candidates have various theory and practical sessions on operations of retail stores. Be it logistics, stock management, cash management, billing, or selling, these sales representatives get ready to take different job roles.
सेल्स मध्ये मी जॉब रोल, जॉब रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, क्रेडिट फॅसिलिटी,
किसके साथ कैसी बात करनी चाहिए, अपना प्रोडक्ट कैसे जाना चाहिए
आणि कम्युनिकेशन करायला होतं दुसऱ्यांसोबत, तर चांगलं वाटते सर.
आता मला जॉब मिळाला, म्हणजे मी आता सिलेक्ट झालेली आहे जॉबमध्ये.
मला जॉब करायची आहे आणि आई बाबांसाठी काही करायचं आहे. मेरी कम उम्र में शादी हो गई थी, जल्दी ही मेरा डाइवोर्स हो गया. इसकी वजह से मैं बहुत डिप्रेशन में चली गई थी और मैंने जॉब के लिए अप्लाई किया ट्रेनिंग होने के बाद. फिर मुझे जॉब मिला, मैंने लाइफ की फिर से शुरुआत की और मैं अब मेरे लाइफ में बहुत खुश हूँ.
सेल्स में बहुत मजा आता है, इंसेंटिव अच्छे हैं, सेल करना बहुत पसंद आता है और मैं अपनी जॉब से बहुत बहुत खुश हूँ. थैंक यू.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Santosh. I'm very inspired. I think, even here in Kenya, we are always thinking about that link between technical skills training and how that empowers communities and women. So congratulations on the work you're doing in your social enterprise. Well done. Next, I'd like to bring on Yaprak to also share, your experiences with measuring social impact at the university level. Welcome, Yaprak.
Thank you so much. It's going to be a little bit difficult after this inspiring actions. So because I'm not going to talk about this today with the actions, but to measure the societal impact in PRME, as everyone it's a kind of a mandatory action that we have to prepare a SIP report. So for the SIP report, we have organized in our university a PRME SIP project to create an online SIP report platform that can be shared with the PRME signatories, with the PRME family, basically. So at the moment, what I'm going to show you is it's going to be a little bit interactive session today in the given few minutes. So the idea is to create the SIP platform that's a self-generated platform that we can easily enter our societal impact activities and then give it to later on after we complete the project to PRME so it can have a bigger impact. So just let me go through a little bit of the tour with the project. So first of all, this is our platform, which is working now. The www.prmesip.org has a kind of ability you can get in touch. Please note this URL, and then we can easily get for you to prepare any feedback. We can prepare a username for your institution, and we can you can start using it as in the test platform, so you can give us some feedback. And basically, this is our our inspiration. We wanted to prepare the SIP report in an easy way and then share and be able to compare the information on progress. And that we can collect the SIP report content from the internal users in an easy way, because it is a self-generated content. You can create as many users if you like in your institution, and they can just add the activities. And we try to create various statistical data to support reporting and filter out the practices and be able to benchmark with the other joining institutions. And you can easily filter the information through the chapter, through by country, so everyone can have some information. For example, what is being done in SDG 1, which is being generated by the faculty or by students, and what kind of impact has created through that. And this is all connected from the different regions and institutions, and we try to make sure that the data integrity has been provided with that. And now I will just get out from the screen, and I'll just introduce you to the SIP report platform that we have here. This is the home screen that we are going to have. I believe you can see all the elements. So the idea is to keep everything easy. For the we have to be able to register our activities. So what we did is we have created this element. And by the way, this platform is very modular. You can easily enter whatever the category that you would like to generate. So we try to, this is an open platform now, and then we are looking forward to the feedback, because this is the alpha version, which means that with the feedback from the PRME society, we would like to add a couple of features to be able to be more inclusive and get everyone to involved and get the ownership for this platform. And these are any activity we can enter through our SDGs, and it's the principles and UNGC principles can be added for each activity we mentioned, and then certain categories that we have to still identify. And then it's very easy, writing down the societal activity title, and you can put the content in it, whatever is going to be. And you can easily talk about what is the societal impact and how it has been organized, where has been taking place, who has been involved. It is an area, so you can just add the new activity based on it. So it will tell us if any activity or any of the area has been left. So, and then also we have prepared one page for the research. And on the research, we can easily add our societal research, societal impact related research, SDG related research onto our platform. So in here, you can easily add the publication type, whatever principle is involved, the SDG names or the UNGC principles as if it is being related to. So you can easily add the name of authors, affiliations, citations, abstract, and the Google Scholar link and the DO link. For example, based on one of our colleagues today, he has suggested, why don't we add where this publication is listed? So it is a feedback we are going to integrate it. It is the FT, or it is the Scopus, or any other listing that, or ABDC, we can edit to that. And we have a project element. It is still under construction. We haven't started yet. So therefore, we are looking for the SIP report committee to bring up some indexes. Maybe we can add here, or we can add some project for collaboration. As we said, it is a modular system, and we can use it for our purpose for future in the beta version. So the good thing is this system is going to help the institutions to prepare the report. And we have created some templates that can be used. There are various templates available. And in this template, there are some static content, which means that some letters from the principal, like some information related to our institution, table of contents, etc., can be added here. So, and all the activities is going to be added here as in live version. You can publish them. As you can see, it is lorem ipsum still, which means that this is still under construction and it is waiting the data to be inserted to these areas. So at the end of the day, what we are trying to do, we will be adding some activity or institution or target related elements into this form. So it will be available for anyone can reach to this. This platform, it is going to be under the PRME head office later on when it's finished. And then we can easily add our reporting, and it will allow us to do a lot of benchmarking in the region or globally. So I'll just look at the activities section. So for me, it is a kind of a honor to be here today with a kind of official launch of this platform, because now we have the tool in our hands, and now it is the time for just developing it more. So this is the elements that we can easily make any filtration to that. And basically, yes.
I'm so sorry to interrupt. Yes. We're running short on time.
Yes,
but thank you.
If you have any question.
Yeah. Sorry for that. I'm very excited about this personally, because even in our chapter Africa, we wanted to pursue SIP training as one of the main activities for our schools. So thank you so much for this tool. I'm sure we can look at it and ask questions as we go along. Let me just, for purposes of time, and thank you very much, Yaprak, bring on Jackie. Most welcome. I'll bring on Jackie now to just share her experiences as well. And I'm also excited about your presentation, Jackie, because, you head accreditation and strategic projects, and I know impact measurement is at the core of that role. So please share with us your experiences on that. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Hi, everybody. Well, that was a very inspirational couple of talks, and it has taken us as a group to where we might want to be. What I'm going to be talking to you about today is actually where we started. So I am, as mentioned, the Accreditation and Joint Strategic Projects Director at the University of Melbourne at the Faculty of Business and Economics in the Melbourne Business School. And we signed up to PRME, as we call it in our region, in 2019 and submitted our first report last year, which precipitated a whole range of activities around SDGs and mapping and impact, which I will share with you today. And very excited to be able to utilise the tool the next time we submit. So just for some context, the Faculty of Business and Economics and the Melbourne Business School are actually two separate entities that have an agreement to undertake certain activities as joint entities, particularly because their awards are provided under the auspice of the University of Melbourne. So there is a joint mission and a joint strategic plan that Accreditation and PRME operates under, and that is to enable individuals and organisations to be global leaders through creation, application, and dissemination of business and economics knowledge. What sits under that is a joint ethics, responsibility, and sustainability strategy, which has 3 pillars, which are very well aligned with the PRME principles. And they are leading the public conversation, commitment to our people, places, and society, and the building building the global leaders of the future. So as I mentioned earlier, we became a signatory in 2019 and only submitted our first report in November last year. So you might remember the first time you submitted your inaugural reports and the manual nature of the work, and that is very much what we undertook, but it allowed us to really think about what we wanted to map, what we wanted to benchmark, and what we wanted to measure. So the first round of benchmarking related to university-wide institutional activities. The second looked more granularly at the two entities, FBE and MBS, the departments within each of those, as well as individual faculty member activities and contributions. My team then went about designing a number of templates, including a mapping tool, survey tools, as well as aggregated optics and dashboards, and then went through the process of collecting and aggregating that data. We took data from accreditation, from the surveys, from individual contributions, departmental data, and central institutional data. Once that all happened, we went through a process of aligning all of that information with our PRME principles and the SDGs. A visual of that is what we call the data ecosystem. And that mentions all the levels of data we looked at to enable that alignment and benchmarking and mapping. Stakeholders, communities and society, students, graduates and alumni obviously form the parameters of that in terms of impact. And it's one of the things that this inaugural process revealed was something that we might have to think about doing differently as we move forward. I'd be really interested to hear other people's experience and other institutions' experience of that. I thought I'd talk a little bit about the individual mapping. I hope it reflects some of what Yaprak has talked about in terms of a more automated and aggregated model. But the self-assessment survey covered teaching and curriculum, including projects, practicums, competitions, research and intellectual contributions, including grants, service and leadership, including community service and professional service, as well as institutional service, and engagement, including public events, conferences, media. It was disseminated to all professional and academic staff, and we had about an 84% response rate, which we were really very happy with for our first benchmarking exercise across the schools. We took all of that and turned it into a dashboard for our inaugural SIP. This was based on the Erev K. Haub School of Business and their model. And it really showed us where our contributions lay, what areas we, relating to the SDGs, we didn't focus on as a school, and which ones we did, and then align those with the PRME principles. So that was quite an instructive and time-consuming process, but quite rewarding as well. Some of the takeaways that we had through this process was that the alignment with the SDGs is spread across many SDGs, and we could make a decision about whether we specialise and focus on our strengths in terms of the impact we want to make, or focus more on breadth. Do we go broad or do we go deep? There were other challenges relating to interpreting and understanding other themes that came through this analysis, for example, where SDGs could apply to more than one theme, like diversity and inclusion, for example. And there were methodological challenges, which I'm sure we've all experienced, relating to gathering this information, including the self-reporting of contributions, particularly the risk of underreporting, which is probably better than over-reporting, but still, and the subjective allocation of a primary SDG to each activity or output, given their interrelationship and interdependencies. Next steps for us as we move into our second round of benchmarking for our PRME reporting is, we understand what we do a lot better now, but we hope to develop an approach, particularly to keywords, to help qualify and distinguish what we mean by each of the SDGs. And I know there are many of those lists that exist, but making one that is fit for purpose to our context is something that we'll be looking at, and going to the next level of granularity with targets to be able to align more accurately. But then beyond that, of course, is the $64 million question about how we actually measure our impact. So mapping and alignment was obviously the first step. And the SIP was a really constructive way to begin that process. But now we need to consider how we move beyond alignment to understand and developing a narrative about impact, causation, and contributions. My team are starting to do this through an impact frame and a logic model, where we're looking at the data that we have from the bottom up, and we'll focus on another survey later this year. One of the things that's been mentioned a number of times throughout the day so far is around understanding student wants and needs and their perspectives on outcomes and impact and the contributions they want to make in the world. And we'd really, really appreciate hearing from other people's experience, if not today, then via email, and excited to see how the development of the automated process that was just shared with us goes moving forward. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed, Jackie. I've learned so much as someone who is just learning how to prepare SIP reports. Let me then, bring the rest of us over to the stage, and maybe I can just touch briefly, or we can touch briefly rather on the challenges. And Santosh, I'll come back to you. When I went through the website, I saw that you've created, I think, over 100,000 jobs in your region. And I'm just thinking, when you are trying to measure the impact of the technical training interventions, what are some of the challenges that you see in that process? And what are some of the best practices that you would suggest social enterprises adopt in measuring their social impact?
Good question, Mumbi. When you look at the vocational skill training, our challenge is mainly how do we measure the impact? I mean, let's understand. Right? So when we are conducting the skill training, then we look at the outcome. Outcomes are, we are saying that how many students we trained, how many students attended this skill training, then what are the facilities we provided, like food, snacks, and all. So all that come under outcome. But when you look at the impact in the skill training, the most important thing all of us look at is how many of these beneficiaries they are working, right? How many of these youth which you saw, all these girls, they are working, they started working. Then how many of them they stayed on the job for means we check it after even 6 months. How many of them stayed on the jobs? How many of them continued with their jobs for more than 1 year? And what are the salaries which they are drawing, what is the additional income which their families are getting, and how it is impacting their standard of living, so whether they bought some additional luxury items or they went for the additional education and all that. Now it looks pretty simple because when you train, then you provide them the job offers, you conduct the interviews, and then you give them the jobs. Bang, so done. And then we feel that okay, happy ending of the story. Unfortunate part is when you place them, okay, then there are additional issues which are there. See, the problem is you cannot force someone to work, right? You can give them the opportunity, but you cannot just force them to work, saying that you have to work. And that is where the real challenge is, that we have seen that even with the boys there are different types of issues, with the girls there are different types of issues. The boys, they might not like the work conditions, they might not like the work location, or they might have some family problems, so because of that they go back. With the girls there are multiple issues, means there are pressures in India especially, and I'm sure that some of you understand it in your countries also, that the girls moving away from families, because we provide local jobs which are within the district or even outside state jobs, so moving away from the families even within state, then working away from families. Then other thing is that marriages, because many of these poor people, then they tend to get married, means girls tend to get married early. So all those problems are there and all those challenges are there, and it's very difficult to address those challenges as an outside agency. However, we do various things. So what we do is that we offer them the local jobs as well as remote jobs. So if someone is interested in having only local, then we provide them the local. The issue with local job is the salaries would be less. So sometimes it's difficult because someone is getting the local job but they want higher salary. So that is one challenge. That is how we try to address it. Second thing, we provide the support even when they are on the job, so that they stay on the jobs. Like if there are accommodation problems, then we provide them the support for accommodation, and we continue to track them each month and try to solve their problem. Despite if someone drops out and they want a job, then we still help them. We continue to help them, providing them the jobs. And that is why now we are focusing on providing the online solutions. So all our students, not only all our students, all the unemployed from the country, they can just log in into our online platform and we can offer them the jobs, because there are not many opportunities available. And that's how we are trying to solve these challenges.
Thank you, Santosh. And I think, it's just for us to appreciate, it's very similar, by the way, with our countries, that once people are empowered, there are far-reaching effects, which are very difficult to capture. But you see that ripple effect of that impact of just one intervention for one person. Let me come to you, Yaprak. So you've created, this platform, which we are so excited about. What are some of the challenges, especially for people who are just starting at the university level, in actually preparing the SIP report? And what are some of the things that you've learned from, your own, experiences in that process?
Yeah, I think it's the major challenge when we are preparing the SIP report is to be able to collect the data from the different stakeholders, from the different parties, because it is difficult to bring them up. I think, Jackie, we can answer this question together, maybe because we are having the similar challenges as institutions. So bring everything together in a comparable platform was the challenge. So we had to have the mindset of how can we regulate this. Right. I mean, any from you, Jackie? Any?
Yes, absolutely. I think one of the other challenges is actually acknowledging that not every faculty member will feel that their work is relevant to an SDG, and kind of engaging in a support process to increase capability around SDGs to enable those educated decisions to be made.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Yaprak.
It creates silos, like it creates silos in our departments, like that we work a lot of in projects, which mostly they are for the good reason. Some of them and most of them is linked to the SDGs, because of each SDGs is somehow covering all the benevolent elements and the real issues of our society and environment. And then these need to be brought together. And there's a lot of things that we can learn from each other. So those kind of platforms maybe give a chance for us to bring everything together and, work for them.
The other thing I would add is that the outcomes and impact of our students when they've left the institution and our social enterprises when they are in the market are things that are quite hard for us to keep track of and to measure, and then to incorporate back into understanding our impact as well.
Yeah, because I keep thinking, I've been looking at the Times Higher Education Impact Ranking and the different dimensions. And, part of them is outreach. So I am just thinking, because Jackie, when I saw your presentation, which was really, really, amazing, by the way, with the work you've been able to do, I was thinking that, there's a lot of emphasis on research. But in other universities, at least regionally, in my region, that would be really low. But then people wouldn't really see, the benefit of, say, community outreach, because that's just something that we have always done because of the challenges that in our communities, and also because of precisely what you've said, like how do we actually track, that visit, that volunteering service over time. So I don't know whether you have any ideas, simple ideas in what we can do in a small way, just to try and capture that. at a university level. But of course, other institutions need to come in to help with this. But just what your thoughts are.
We've started 2 projects at the Faculty of Business and Economics at Melbourne Business School. One is around trying to understand the social impact of our the social enterprises that come through the Melbourne Accelerator program as they relate to the SDGs. And we're just at the very embryonic stages of both of these, and the second one being the outcomes, the graduate outcomes for our PhD students, with a particular focus on female PhD students, to try and understand where they end up, what they do, and what their areas of expertise become if it's in the tertiary sector. And we've just started to put together communities of practice internally around those projects, so that all the various touch points that those graduates or those enterprises go through when they're in the institution can talk to each other about what it is they want to know and what they understand impact to be.
Thanks, Jackie. And those are really good ideas, I think, for all of us here. Just, I see we have about, 5 or so minutes. I think for now, what I would like us to do is just maybe give our closing remarks on what we would want those listening in to think about when it comes to social impact. What's the message that we want to leave them with, given our own experiences and what we have actually seen with others as well? And Santosh, I'll start with you, because again, your work is critical as a social enterprise. So what would you want other people all over the world to learn in terms of impact measures, and that this is possible at that level? And I'm saying that because I have trained several SMEs here and micro businesses. And the question is always, this is an extra thing to do. It's extra work and we're constrained in terms of our resources. So what do you want? What's the message you want to leave for these people?
Just to say one thing, I agree one thing. Okay, many times the measuring impact is the most painful thing. Okay, and as we all say that we are really not in control of finally what the beneficiaries will do, right? The students will do. Okay, uh, however, if we think, okay, and somehow if we can link our revenue to that impact, okay, it means, as I said, that we have come out with now the new offerings by which when I place a student and he continues, then my revenue will go up. Okay, so there is a business benefit for me, and as there is a business benefit as a social enterprise or as a private enterprise, if once there is a social benefit for me, then I would be willing to put in the efforts to do that. And I'm just putting it for the means, even though it's not my area, but still in the universities, if there is a business benefit for me, for a student to work for a long time or at a higher position, there are business benefits which needs to be measured, because then I will get the higher fees, I will get the higher enrollment, and all that will be there. But that also has to be measured. Then I think then from the top management also there would be more buy-in for this impact.
Thanks, Santosh. I think it's always that business case that we try to do, where we're trying to show the links. But I always feel we need to do more also as academics to demonstrate that. So thank you for sharing this. Coming to you, Yaprak, closing remarks for people, in MENA and beyond also here, what you want us to take away.
Yeah, actually, I would agree that if you cannot measure, you cannot manage. So we need to find the measurement for that. And also it's important, especially in the previous sessions, is the multi-stakeholder collaborations are important. For example, if we work with Santosh to understand what he's been doing and to be able to write a case study about his company, and then if we can manage to publish it, and then if we can put this publication into our SIP report or in the measurement tools, so the other institutions, the other people, the other educators can take the benefit. It's the societal impact, and be able to use it in their classrooms as a case studies, and it is going to increase the impact tremendously. So I think this is the way to go, multi-stakeholder engagement. And just before I just leave, I would like to thank for this platform. By the way, it is a student project. It is a student has developed all this program, which is Yiğit Esen from Turkey. So he's an IT engineering student. So he created this work. So I would like to thank to him for his collaboration and impact on the in the global level to us. Thank you.
Thanks, Yaprak. I'm now even more impressed with that and quite excited to explore the platform further. Thank you for this. And I think it will benefit several people. But yes, multi-stakeholder collaborations are critical. And it's something that we have to also drive at the leadership level at the university. So thank you. Coming to you, Jackie.
I would just reiterate those sentiments and to say that there's real opportunity through collaboration to get some global frameworks in place so that as a sector, tertiary institutions and providers of business education can really understand the difference that they make. Because I think that's one of the things that we all, we face the same challenge in understanding the difference, because there's so many different factors that can go into an outcome. And so talking about what constitutes a good measure or what a good indicator or what the difference is, then that I think will really help us individually and by region to be able to move forward in this space.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed, Jackie. And I think as we now close off this session, probably it's for us to just think about, when we think about impact, to think about the research. Yes, that is critical, aligned to the SDGs, but also the stewardship of our resources and the outreach that we do. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining in on this discussion. And let's keep discussing further in the other sessions as well. Have a good day and see you out there. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.